Hello, everyone. Welcome. MTL Sports here. We're on episode 160. This episode, back to the NBA. We got to sprinkle in a little bit of NFL news. We got the 2027 draft site revealed by the NFL earlier this week. But when it comes to NBA, we got round two predictions. I know some of the games tipped off, but we still gonna give our predictions. And then the rest of the round one losers, we will be recapping their seasons, giving them a grades, and probably predicting what their off seasons are going to look like. So, with all that being said, guys, stay tuned. Back. Let's get into the NFL before we get into the NBA. So there's a little bit of NFL news. Probably the biggest thing this week, I guess the NFL, Roger Goodell, and the president announced 2027. The draft will be in DC. I guess at the National Mall, right?
Mm-hmm.
With the Capitol in the backdrop. What are your thoughts about this? I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's cool. Well, I'd not to cut you off, but I think it's really important that you get it to a big city and you don't keep it like you did in Green Bay. Because personally, I don't think the Green Bay. I wouldn't say it wasn't that exciting, but there was just so much limitation to what they could do. And let's be honest, like it was all Packer fans just through and through, and then you just had whatever fans were flown out by their teams.
Yeah.
Because, nobody was traveling to Green Bay just for the draft. Like, that's not something people were going to do. I think they could have foreseen that. And then I think a good thing about moving or the draft being in DC in 2027, it's like every fan base is already here. So it's not like you have to like really, push for any certain thing. They're going to try to, when they pan around, they're going to try to focus in on Commander fans. Now, here's the big question: is I doubt the Commanders change their name back to the Redskins by that time. But are they going to even let people in the crowd be wearing Redskins stuff? Because they were very anti when the games were being played to have Redskin stuff. I mean, I remember they said they were going to put tape on people's jerseys. They were going to deny people at the door. I remember them saying that when we went to that Bengals preseason game.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think they did some swaps, right? Where you could get the players, like if you had a Redskins player jersey, but they still were with the Commanders, you could get the jersey swapped. But I don't know how many people actually took advantage of that.
Nobody, because they didn't want to.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Yeah, I think it's cool. They're expecting well over 1 million people, I guess, in totality. I think it's cool because, like you said, no one really came to Green Bay. I think less people went to Green Bay than they did when they went to Detroit and even Nashville. So I think it's going to be cool. I guess the thing we got to look out for is I don't even know if like the tickets cost money or do you just sign up and you just go. I'm definitely going to try and go. I don't know about you, but I think it's going to be cool. Even though, the Commanders is my team, I still want to be there, experience it because, I don't know, it seems like people have a good time.
I don't know. I just feel like I would want to go just because, I don't know. When's the next time you're going to be able to have a chance?
Yeah. I agree with that one. Next up, the Ravens let go of Justin Tucker after, I think he spent his whole career there. The recent, allegations of him and the SA and sexual harassment stuff allegedly at the massage parlors. I mean, even without that, Lawrence, he was having a bad season. I think he had like the worst season of his career, but I guess all those allegations don't really help his case to keep him on the team.
I think the main problem is how much money you have to pay him. And then you really have to ask yourself, is he really the 32nd best kicker at this current moment in time? Historically, yeah, obviously he is.
Yeah.
But at this current moment in time, I mean, I'm not too sure. But I don't know. I just wondering what these people did because I mean, obviously you were probably going to the massage parlor for a long time. what did you do that made these people like decide to turn on you? Did you start coming with their business or what? But it's getting kind of weird that that's starting to become like I don't know, like an every year thing. We find out another NFL player just likes to get massages and endings at the same time,
or owners.
or owners.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on. This, like you said, this is like, I feel like it's an every year thing that, allegedly these things are happening to players and owners. So I don't know. The NFL got to kind of get a grasp on that. Stop letting this stuff happen.
Yeah, these people got to start tipping better, apparently.
That's pretty much it. All the NFL news I wanted to cover. Anything else from the NFL we should hit before we tackle the NBA?
Well, I remember they came out with the power rankings. There were some teams on the power rankings. I didn't think really made a whole lot of sense. I remember Carolina for one of them, just because I'm their team. Carolina for sure is power ranked at 27. I was really questionable on the Carolina being 27. It just kind of feels a little bullyish to do based on their last year's team. Like it's not the same team as last year. I thought personally the Rams, they were ranked 8. I thought that was a little strong. I thought that was a little high.
Yeah.
I thought the Broncos being, I think they're around 14, 15. I thought that was a little low.
14, yeah.
I think the Broncos could go a little higher. Seattle, I'm not really impressed. I don't think Seattle's going to have as good of a season as they did last year. Miami at 20. I don't see Miami finishing at 20. I've seen Miami finish in the bottom echelon. The Patriots to go from worst to almost top 20 or in the top 20 doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of favoritism in these rankings. Yeah.
23.
I mean, the New England Patriots won for me for sure. Like that was bottom tier team as a whole. And then if you really want to get down to the brass tacks of it all, what did they do in the wide receiver room to like really, make you believe that offense is going to do any better than it did last year? Like,
yeah, have Stephon Diggs coming off ACL tear, and then they drafted 2 rookies. Yeah, I'm not buying it. I know they got a new coach. Everyone's hyped about the guy from Tennessee, but honestly, they're still years away. They're not going to turn that thing around that quick. I mean, if Chicago didn't do it, then you guys aren't going to do it. Let's just be honest. So, I mean, I got to take a bigger look at the power rankings, but from the quick scroll, I think, I have some issues, but I think I got to dig into it a little bit more later on. NBA. Let's start with, I guess the last game 7 was Rockets, Golden State. Golden State won that game, so the Rockets were eliminated. How would you grade their season, Lawrence? They were the number 2 seed in the West. A little shocking, at least to me. The state of the roster looks pretty good. They got some picks, a lot of picks going forward. They got some choices with free agents. What do you think?
I think they had a good season. I'll give them an A. I think they bit too early. And I think kryptonite being is they were too young playing I don't even think the Warriors are that great, but it's just the moment the Warriors, everyone on that team has just been there, done that. And there's like 3 or 4 guys as a whole on the Rockets that have been there, done that. I mean, we saw a lot of stretches of Steven Adams in the playoffs because of those reasons. The reason I don't get it better than an A, and it might just go to B- or B+, because I get it. You got to game 7, but like you're the 2 seed, you couldn't make it out of the first round. You're playing an aging Warriors team with half the team that the Warriors beat up. And then I guess lastly, I just want to point out, I don't know how to explain it, but like Jalen Green, where he had one good game in the playoffs.
Yep,
every other game irrelevant. He was legitimately irrelevant in every game except for game 2. I don't understand if that was just all about the game plan or what. Like he wasn't even taking shots. And I get it. Thompson's pretty good, but he was going pretty wild in some games. Like he was scoring heavy points, and he was notorious for scoring 10 to 15. So big question marks there. Personally, I think moving off Van Vliet isn't a bad option, a bad choice. I feel like you can get a lot of money if you do that. And I don't even know if you look at the roster, like Sengun is your guy. Do you really need a go get it, do everything point guard / shooting guard? Like that kind of does a hybrid of both. I think what you really need to do is sit Jalen Green down and ask him, like, is this what's going to be like every season in the postseason? Because if it is, then I'm going to trade you now while your value is still good.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Jalen Green is a good reason why they didn't advance. Because I mean, they had every opportunity to advance. Game 7, they're right there with hanging in there with the Warriors. And I mean, even previous to Game 7, like if he just plays better, the Rockets have a shot to win it. So, most of those games too. So, yeah, I think there's a conversation to be had with Jalen Green. You know, I think there's a good chance he's traded because I think if you do trade for a star, any team is going to want Jalen Green. Even after watching his playoff performance, a team could probably say, "Hey, we could make him better in the playoffs." That was just his first playoffs, we can make him better. So he's definitely on the trading block for sure. Now, what star do they go get? Do they go get Kevin Durant? Does Giannis want to go there? The Bucks aren't going to trade Giannis allegedly without Giannis requesting it. So does Giannis want to play in Houston? Do they, decline Fred VanVleet's option and maybe trade for Ja? Is the Grizzlies really serious about moving Ja? Like, what do you think the next move is for Houston if they, they know they can get to number 2 seed, but what's the move that gets them over the hump?
I think they just need. I just think they need another bona fide star to pair with
Sengun?
Sengun. Sengun absolutely crushed it. Amon Thompson. Both brothers did awesome in their postseason. So I think that's something that you can look at. Like that is a very versatile tool that we can use going forward into the next season. Like we're gonna have to give him a bigger role. But on top of that, like I don't know, like Jalen Green is supposed to be that guy for them, and he just did not do it in the postseason. And like that was his first postseason. You're doing it against old vets. I get it, they've been there and done that, but like they're old. Like you're supposed to be
Yeah.
at least putting up 20. Like we're not even asking for a whole lot here. We're asking for like 20, and you're putting up single digits.
Yep.
I just
No, you're
think
right.
I think that's a good. I think that's a good one. The good bridge to jump from. Do you think that's what's going to support you the rest of the way? Because I feel like there could be a lot of years. See, word key there is could, if you just stick with him long term. But who am I to say? But it's just his first postseason. We also were saying that the Rockets were probably 1 year too early.
Yep.
But I think you could just do a little bit better in Van Vliet. I think Van Vliet at the time when they were struggling and trying to find some kind of semblance of relevancy, I think he was a good pickup. I think he did his job for the few years he was there. But do I believe that he deserves that much money one more time? Not really, because you can't really expand your roster if you do that. And if Van Vliet leaves, it does let you play around with the ability to get a high level player. Or if that's not what you want and you're going to stick with your 2 that you think you have, then you can get 2 players for the price of 1 player in terms of role players. Now, do they need more role players? Not really, so I don't really think that's the route to go. I think Reed Shepard did really good in the G League. I think he's just going to come into the league next year and just kind of plug a place. So I don't really think role players are really what they need. I think they just, like you said earlier, I think they need like a jaw, And I'm completely on board with the Grizzlies being down to get rid of Ja, because personally I think that Bane is more consistent on a regular basis. And with JJJ, Triple J, you're not really getting rid of Triple J. Like he was never the problem.
No.
Their
No.
problem lies in a one player every single season. So kill it while you're ahead. And difference being, I get it, Memphis is kind of a rough street place, but I feel like he'd get away with a lot of things with shooting the gun in Houston because guns are legal in Texas.
Yeah, I think Houston would be a good spot for Ja. I think Kevin Durant probably doesn't fit their timeline, but if they get desperate enough, sure. And I think Giannis. If you have Sengun, you don't really need Giannis. It's not a good fit. They both don't. I mean, they can't. They both can't stretch the floor. So yeah, I think the Bucks would want Sengun. So I don't think you swap Sengun for Giannis. I don't think that's a good option. So I think it's pretty much down to Ja or KD or maybe someone else we haven't spoken of yet. Ask out, and the Rockets are, first to jump the gun and go get that player. So we'll see. I give them an A for their season. A year too early probably, but still a good season. Next up, another team that was probably a year too early, the Detroit Pistons. I think they're the first team ever to triple their win total from the previous season. So shout out to them. JB Bickerstaff, former coach of the Cavs, comes over to Detroit, plays second in Coach of the Year. Of course, Kenny Atkinson has the best record in the league this year, so he had to win. But I mean,
he didn't have to. I personally thought Bickerstaff should have won. Tripling your win total is more impressive than just having the most wins in a season. Personally, it is.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because you had the most wins in a really, really, really shitty Eastern Conference. Now, on another note, Detroit was also taking advantage of a shitty Eastern Conference. So
this is both his true statements. The Pistons, yeah, definitely a year too early. Got bounced in the first round, but the future is bright. What would you grade their season, and what moves do you think they need to make this offseason to be competitive in the East?
You tripled your win total. That's an A+ season. You don't have to win the whole thing just to get A+. I think this is an A+. Like going into the season, most people were saying Detroit was not even making the playoffs. Sliding there at 6 seed, didn't even have to go through the play-in. Just straight up made the playoffs the old-fashioned way. And quite honestly, they didn't really have any superstars when you start the season. Like, there was no superstar on the team. Now, this season did create superstars on their team, but going into the season, there was no superstar. Now, in terms of moving forward and what they need to do, dude, all you got to do is just wait till next season and see what more you can do, because I don't think there's a whole lot you can add to make it better. I don't think you need to let the pieces that you have leave. If Tim Hardaway wanted to leave, I could see it. I could understand. I'd be okay with it. But I don't think I'd let Beasley walk away. I think his three-point ability is really crucial on this Detroit team because they don't take a whole lot of them. And if I was to say what they need to add a three-point specialist that can play defense. And then let Beasley come off the bench and then be your bench time three-point specialist. Because Beasley does have a liability at some points in shooting the ball. But, I'm not saying that people like Derek White come around pretty often, but that's who you need. You're not going to get Derek White, obviously, but that's who you need. You need that kind of fit. So where are we going to find it? I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of who's available, but that's what they need. They need a defensive three-point scorer. And I mean consistent three-point scorer. Like if you brought a KCP here, I don't know if that even moves the needle at all, because based on how Schroeder was playing in the playoffs, I don't think KCP gives you any more than Schroeder was giving you. Schroeder was playing his little heart out.
I think you keep the team young, in my opinion. Keep the team young. Just keep building. No need to rush to make a better playoff push. I think they still got a lot of years from these young guys. They can just give it some time, kind of like OKC. Don't rush into things. I give them an A+. Like you said, the first team that ever tripled their win total. I mean, that's enough to give that. That's enough for an A+. No matter what the rest of the season looked like, that was very impressive. Bickerstaff's doing a hell of a job. I like how they build around Cade instead of trying to, pick Cade next to another potential superstar and trying to make it work. Like they said, no, we're going full on. Hey, Cade, this is your team. It's either you take it or we're gonna move you. And basically, he took the team under his wing. He was an all-star. Most likely, he's going to be on one of the All NBA teams. So shout out to him. He's finally becoming the star that number one pick should be. So shout out to him. In terms of moves, I agree with you. I think Malik Beasley is probably top of the mind right now. You probably keep him for whatever you can. Now, does he deserve a fat contract? No, but if you can give him maybe 10, 11 million per year over the next 2 or 3 years, then I think that's worth it for his 3-point shooting alone. But yeah, they definitely need to get younger in that 3-and-D wing department, like Tobias. Yeah, he's 3-and-D, but he's up there in age, so you probably want to get younger. You probably want to move Dennis Schroeder because he plays well, but like I said, you want to get younger. You don't want too many older players on your roster. So maybe keep a vet or two around, but for the most part, just look to get younger. The Thompson brother played well again. Jaden Ivey was playing well before he got hurt. So yeah, the future's bright. They just gotta get these guys back and healthy, and another year with good off season, good training camp should lead to improved results, in my opinion. Next up, number one of the first of the two LA teams to get kicked out, the Lake Show, LA Lakers.
Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5 didn't turn out.
It was T-Wolves in 5.
Very unfortunate as a Goat James fan, but nonetheless, number 3 seed in JJ's first year. The surprise Luka trade, the one that we thought was a hoax. Shams got hacked, all this other stuff. Nope, it was real. Luka got traded in the middle of the night for Anthony Davis. Somehow he carried the roster to the 3 seed, him and Braun. So how would you grade the Lakers season, and what do they need to do to get back to a top 3-4 seed in the West next year and actually advance past the first round?
I think overall I'd give their season probably. I had to give it an A, only because they pulled off the Luka trade. I know they got bounced in the first round of the playoffs, but you got Luka moving forward. Now, whether or not he wants to stay there, that's all on you. That's big market. You got one of the biggest stars in the biggest market. You got to secure that. You got to lock that down. You got to make sure that he can't go anywhere no matter what. I think going forward, I also believe you got to get LeBron back as well.
Yep.
But I also believe that you're going to have to speak to LeBron about his contract. Because as good as he is, he ain't what he once was as well. And if I have to pay you that much money, I now lose other players that I could, bring in to make sure you get to the NBA Finals. But if I have to pay you this much money and Luka this much money, I can no longer pay to get that third, fourth guy in the door, to really push our needle to get us further. Because, no offense, LeBron, but you're getting older. Your knee injury says it all. They literally made you pray till your knees came off. You gave it everything you had. We don't want that next year. We want you to make it through. And I'm not trying to shit on AR or anything, but did not show up. He was not the same guy as last year. I don't know if that's because Luka's a little bit more, ball hoggy and ball dominant. He's got to get his shots. There's too many, mouths to feed. I don't know. It did seem like they did suffer a little bit on the defensive side, and it did seem like Anthony Davis could have come in clutch a few times towards the end. Personally, the fact that they didn't have a center, and that should also be the one reason you're trying to push LeBron to take a little less money if you can, and that's because LeBron, I don't want you to have to play center next year.
Yeah, no, LeBron cannot play center next year. They got to get a center. That is top of the mind, top priority. That has to happen. How they do it, I don't know. Rob Pelinka, I mean, you got an extension for a reason, bud. You got to get this done. I don't want to hear any excuses. Lakers fans don't want to hear any excuses. Just needs to happen. Season, I give them an A. You have to give them an A, like you said. You land Luka. You were heading in the right direction with AD and LeBron, but with Luka kind of putting that team together last minute. JJ being the first year head coach, rookie head coach, he gets them to the 3 seed in the West. West was super competitive this year as always, but even more so if you look at the win loss records. Very impressive. Now, postseason wise, JJ is very stubborn. Playing LeBron at the 5. I mean, I don't think it was the best move. A lot of people don't think it's the best move. Playing him for a whole second half straight, game 4 definitely wasn't a good move. He definitely has his criticisms, but overall, JJ did a pretty good job. Just has to work on some things. Roster wise, other than center, I would definitely explore trading Reeves. Honestly, I think, and someone pointed this out on one of the shows, but they made a good point. I forgot who it was. Yeah, you have 3 guys that can play make, but then you also have 3 guys who don't play defense, and I just don't think that's conducive to winning. Maybe Luka turns it around this season because JJ called him out and said, hey, we're not in championship shape. We can't win until we get in that type of shape. So maybe he gets in the lab actually and works on being skinny Luka back when he first came to the league so he can move his puppies. But unless that happens, I think they got to trade Reeves or at least see what they can get for him. They need a 3-and-D wing on the younger side. Who that wing is, I don't know, but that's definitely second priority. And then third priority, like you said, LeBron got to take less money, bro. I mean, I know he was willing to do it last year to sign Clay. Ultimately, Clay didn't want to play there because he thought the pressure would be too much, and he thought he would be playing with Luka, but that didn't turn out to be the case. But I think this year he has to actually commit to it. I think he needs to take he doesn't need to play on the minimum, but
No,
if you
he
go
doesn't.
from 50 to 25, 30, just give the Lakers some space to make a move. I mean, your chances of winning greatly improves. In that case, you probably don't even need to trade Reeves. You can probably just get someone on the cheap or get someone who will play cheaper just to play with Luka and LeBron. I think he seriously needs to consider it. You don't need, you're 40, about to be 41 next season in December. Bro, do you need another 60 million? Let's be honest. I think
he doesn't. He could just do any TV commercial for I don't know, half a season, and he'll make the rest of that money up. You can make the money back, LeBron. We've seen you do it. Go make Space Jam 2. Go make Space Jam 2. You'll make all that money back. You'll make all of it back.
Yeah, and I know he hasn't taken a pay cut since Miami, and I know he vowed he wouldn't do it again. But seriously, bro, he has to take one. It has to be substantial. If he's serious about winning number 5, he has to take a pay cut so they can go get somebody. And like you said, Lawrence, if Houston declines Van Fleet's team option and Van Fleet becomes a free agent, if LeBron takes less money, that means they can go get a guy like Van Fleet, maybe sign him for 15, 20 million a year. That's your point guard. Because they do need a point guard to play beside Luka. And then maybe Miles Turner signs for cheaper. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. Miles Turner is going to be a free agent. Maybe you can sign him for the cheap if LeBron takes less. Maybe you can. I don't know. There's a bunch of different scenarios out there, but that's definitely the top 3 things the Lakers need to do. And a team that was in the basement, but now they're in the Intuit Dome. Is that what it's called? The Intuit Dome in LA. The LA Clippers. Lost and get
6.
I told you them Nuggets. The Nuggets were gonna win. And you didn't want to believe me. Nuggets beat them in Game 7. It was an ass whooping. Of course, Game 7, James Harden showed up once again. It wouldn't be a Game 7 if James Harden didn't show up, right? They got pick 30 this year, pick 49. James Harden has a player option. Then they have all these other free agents. I'm not gonna list them all. What would you grade the Clippers season, and what do they need to do? Do they need to keep James Harden? Do you resign him? You let him go? Do you need another star there? Like, what is their priority?
I personally think they need like a guy who just is really good in like regular season, which
Yep.
is a James Harden type. I think they need like a closer, like a playoff closer type as well. I think this is another one of those things where you're gonna have to kind of give a conversation to James Harden and say, "Hey, you're getting kind of old. We want to win you one. You haven't. He hasn't won one, right? No, I don't. No, he's never won one. You haven't won one.
Well, he's been in
We
one
want,
finals, but they didn't win.
yeah,
Remember, he was on that
yeah.
OKC team.
We want to get you one, and our best bet is to bring you back a little less money. We're not talking extremes here. We're just talking about a little less money. We're gonna get the salary back and other players leaving." And then I personally think they just need to go out and just get straight up younger. Because with Harden and Kawhi, and then like Batum, I get it. Batum wasn't that bad. He wasn't. But he does have his limitations.
Yep.
And you got to see like the emergence of Norman Powell. So you can keep using that going forward. I think there's a lot of things this team can do, and I don't think this team needs to be scared really kind of at all. I think you just need to figure out how to get James Harden back in, which I don't think he wouldn't even be, against coming back, because pretty much like he gets to create this team with Kawhi from like the ground up. Like they've always been the redheaded stepchild to the Lakers. They still kind of are, but they're not really because they have their own dome now.
Yep. This is
I
true.
personally, and Zubac, no slouch. He's fine. He'll get you through it. Ain't no complaints. You're not even paying him that much. I just think that Batum, you let him walk, don't resign him. Ben Simmons, let him walk, don't care. Patty Mills, he can come back just to sit on the bench. He ain't gonna do nothing anyways. But I think they just need to go out and just get some young stud, wherever you can find it. Maybe the Lakers, they don't want AR anymore. Hey, call AR up. His defensive liability can be minimized from a Kawhi Leonard. We
Yep.
can minimize that, but I think there's a plethora of ways this team can go. I'd give the season probably a B, maybe a B plus, because they were a little up there. I thought they were probably going to barely scrape in past the play-in. They were kind of sitting pretty towards the end, as one could do the most in the West. I thought they had some pretty good wins throughout the season. I thought they had some pretty good wins against Denver. I thought game one at Denver they got hoed. I still will stand by that. I think the refs hoed them game one, which led to a trickle down effect. Because if they didn't get hoed in game one, they might not be playing that game 7, and it could have been Clippers in 6. So
you hate to see it. Hate to see it. Yeah. I mean, I give the Clippers a B. I thought they, being a play-in, be a play-in team, barely scrape into the playoffs. But no, they were the 4 the 5 seed actually, the 5th seed in the West. West was super competitive. Kawhi came back, was actually healthy throughout most of the season when he did come back. Was healthy in the playoffs. Ty Lue, hell of a job this year coaching. Big Zoo had a career season, so shout out to Big Zoo. He's definitely top 5 center in the NBA currently. There's no doubt about that. Big Zoo was putting up numbers. Big Zoo was putting up 2020s. Like we gotta give a huge shout out to Big Zoo. The Lakers really screwed up by trading Big Zoo all those years ago because he's a damn good center now. But yeah, I mean, this comes down to James Harden. He has to take less money. I know he's gonna probably clamor for some more money because hey, I played well in the regular season, buddy. You turn into a choke job once again in the playoffs. I don't know if we can actually, rip up your contract and give you more money. So they're gonna have to come to some type of compromise. Maybe you don't get more money, but we give you more years. Maybe we give you 3 years instead of just opting in. Maybe that's something they can do. I don't know. Something they gotta think about. But yeah, you're right. They gotta go get a young star, someone who's durable. Not even a star. They just need someone that's young, durable, that 3-and-D mentality, but can also get their own shot. I mean, those are tough to find. So, and with the limited assets they have, you're just gonna have to hope that one of those players makes their way into free agency and wants to come to LA and not the Lakers. So they got their work cut out for them. I don't see how much better this team gets though without making a big splash in free agency. Just with the limited assets, I don't really see this team improving much. But they were a hell of a good team. Maybe they get better seeding next year because Kawhi is going to play for most of the season next year. At least he should. So maybe they get better seeding and they don't have to run into the Nuggets. They can get a better playoff matchup. Maybe that will make them advance further in the playoffs. But yeah, the Clippers, just like the Lakers, they get their work cut out for them. Honestly, so we'll just have to wait and see on that. Last but not least, the round 2 conference semifinals for both conferences kicked off I think Sunday technically, right? Because the Cavs Pacers was technically on Sunday. Game 1 for the Timberwolves Warriors starts tonight. So let's start with that. That's the first series that hasn't played a game yet. Timberwolves Warriors. Who do you have winning, Lawrence, and how many games?
T-Wolves in 5.
Wolves in 5s. Yeah, I got Wolves in 7. I think this goes 7. The Warriors really competitive against the Rockets. Now the Rockets, honestly, if they had a consistent score, they probably win that series. The Wolves, I guess, at least against the Lakers, the Wolves consistently could score. And their defense was pretty good against the Lakers. So I think it'll be a tough matchup for the Warriors, but they have playoff experience. I mean, technically the Timberwolves do too, but I think both teams are just going to battle it out. Next up, let's stay in the West. Thunder, Nuggets. Who do you have, Lawrence, and how many games?
Big shocker last night. I idiotically, I just thought it was a guaranteed lock. I picked the Thunder to win.
Damn.
I hit every single leg of a 9-leg parlay.
Damn.
And the only thing that lost was Thunder money line. And I literally was looking at it. I was like, why did I even put that in there? It was not necessary. It was just not. I even had the Denver plus 10.5. I was like, Denver plus 10.5. Thunder to win. A lock. And then I just had a bunch of player props. All of them hit. I'm pretty sure almost all of them hit by the third quarter, too. I wasn't even sweating at all. I was chilling. And then I saw like the little baby collapse. And then I saw... I watched the end, and oh man, the fact that Chet couldn't hit one of two, he just missed both free throws. Pissed me off. Who the hell? Low key, I'm gonna give the Thunder in 7. I think this is gonna be a long, stretched out series, which is gonna benefit the T-Wolves 100%. I personally think the T-Wolves blow by the Warriors. I think the Warriors are beat up. I think Draymond probably is going to get ejected at least one game. Personally, I think Draymond could have gotten. I think he could have gotten ejected against the Rockets. I do believe personally that it's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's bullshit that he didn't get ejected against the Rockets. I think if he does any kind of those antics, which he will, against the T-Wolves, he's going to get ejected. It's going to lead to another game where he's not going to play. I just think the T-Wolves just honestly beat the hell out of the Warriors real quick, which bodes well because, the Thunder and Nuggets are going to go through a slaughter fest on each other. And honestly, I think the T-Wolves can win the whole thing after watching how easily they took care of the Lakers. And honestly, the Lakers should have done better in the series than they did. Next, I got to give it to Thunder in 7, but yeah, that's my go. That's my go.
Thunder at 7. I got Thunder at 6. Honestly, that was a choke job by the Thunder. Fouling up 3 with 10 seconds left made zero sense. I don't understand. I mean, sometimes I get playing the foul game late in those late game scenarios, but when you're, I mean, why would you foul when Jokic is on the sideline? He's not in the game. Why are we fouling up three, guys? They have no more timeouts. They have to inbound the ball on from the other basket. They have to go all the way up the court and then run some type of play. Why are we fouling? At the worst, you tie the game up and you have like 2 or 3 seconds left. Why are we doing that? That was a choke job. That's the Thunder coach trying to be all smart and trying to be, outplay the other coach. No, you're just a dumbass. Like, don't do that shit again, bro. You cost your team a win. They were dominating the Nuggets for the most part. It literally took Jokic having a 40-20 game for them to win. Like, he's not going to do that every single game. So I got Thunder in 6. Honestly, I could see Thunder in 5. But I'm gonna be conservative and go Thunder in 6. They're gonna take care of the Nuggies. The Nuggets honestly just don't have enough talent. It's literally the whole team is first round picks in the starting lineup, and then the all the bench players are just either undrafted or like low key second round picks. Like there's a huge talent disparity here. The Nuggets just don't have enough. At least in my opinion. The game that's going on right now, as you can see, Cavs, Pacers. Cavs are putting on a clinic. Oh, I guess at one point it was a clinic, but up by 14. Indiana won game 1. Who do you have winning the series, Lawrence, and how many games?
I'm going to give it to the Cavs. And I'm going to do Cavs. I'm also going to do Cavs in 7. I feel like this is a matchup problem for the Cavs. The Pacers are. And the Pacers have the luxury of taking game 1. Arguably shouldn't have taken game 1. I don't know. It just seemed like the fourth quarter the Cavs did not come to play. You got the benefit of not having to play against Garland game 1. I think Garland's back tonight, and we're kind of seeing what happens when Garland plays. I still believe that the Pacers can do well at home, so I'm still going to give it to the Cavs, but it's probably going to be in 6 or 7. I don't see it any other way.
I got Cavs in 7. They lost game 1. I saw that one coming off all the rest they had because I think they had like almost a week of rest because they beat Miami. They swept them, so they had nothing but time. So yeah, I got Cavs in 7. The Cavs should squeeze it out. I know they got a lot of injuries right now. DeAndre Hunter's out tonight. Mobley has an ankle injury. He's out. Garland, I think he's out tonight too. So 3 of your main guys are out. Hopefully they're not out for too much longer. They can get back to full strength and then just put the Pacers away sooner. But I see the Pacers being a good matchup. They love going up and down the court. The Cavs are kind of like a grinded out team. They can score, but they also like to grind it out with their 2 bigs. So if one of the 2 twin towers is out, it's a big problem. Kind of changes how they play. So, but yeah, I got Cavs in 7. Knicks, Celtics. That game was last night. That was electric. Knicks were down 20, came back and won in overtime against the Celtics. Who do you have winning that series and how many games?
I know it's because I'm foolish and I'm a little crazy, but I'm going to give it the Knicks in 6. There's just something crazy. I think that slugfest of, the first series against Detroit, I just personally think it really lit something within this team. All this team knows is winning. I mean, if you look it up and down, there's just winners. And you got Cat. So I think this is really what Cat needed to reset his career, reset himself. And personally, I ain't trying to hate on the Celtics, but they old. They're not like old, but like sorry, but you running Al Horford a little too long.
This is true.
I think Al Horford's is the ultimate liability in their team going into for this series. And personally, I think the Knicks match up well. I think the Knicks' problem last game against the Detroit Pistons was they didn't match up well against the Pistons. I think personally the Knicks match up well against Boston. They just kind of do. There's no big advantage. as much as we can like Porzingis, he was Zingas Pingas for a reason. Like, he does have bad games. Like, that's just how it is. And I don't know. I just feel like Jaylen Brown, Tatum, they did it last year, but there's always that like hangover. Most teams, don't get to keep going back and then back and then back, but we normally believe they should because they did it last year. And personally, I just got this feeling that this is like Knicks time. It's like the next year. Brunson's playing out of his mind. Hart will get you 30 plus points, rebounds, assists per game. Honestly, the whole entire the way this goes all goes through Cat. I think that's the one variable when we look at it. I mean, the Knicks have been playing playoff basketball all season, and the way they do their rotations, they barely have any guys to play anyways. And the fact that like this year, unlike last year and previous years, they're not all injured. They're actually all healthy somehow. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it to the Knicks. And idiotically say it in 6. That way they can do it in the Garden.
Yeah, as much as I believe the Celtics will win, after last night, it kind of gives me hope to say this. But yeah, I got Knicks in 7. I think this is definitely possible after what I've seen last night. And yeah, you might say, oh, well, the Celtics missed 45 threes. Well, I mean, why are you taking them, number one? And number two, well, you were up by 20 and you were still missing all those threes. So it says a lot about the Knicks and their ability to grind it out, kind of grind their way back into the game. Brunson took over in the fourth quarter. Brown and Tatum didn't have a good game. I think that's just a testament to not only them having a bad shooting night, but they just match up well. You have OG and you have Mikal Bridges, 2 wings that can guard, defend really well at high level. All NBA type of defenders. Have them on Tatum and Brown. It's not like you just have one guy. No, you have 2. And you have Josh Hart, who can play defense too. So you literally have 3 wings who can play really good defense. I think that's the recipe for success. Now, like you said, you have Cat on the team. He's a playoff liability. Cat's never been good in the playoffs. If you can just squeeze more out of Cat in these next 6 games, the Knicks will win. Because like you just gotta look at it like this: anything you get from Cat is extra. So if you can get him to be a consistent 20 and 10 in this series against an old man Al Horford and Porzingis when he comes back, the Knicks should win, honestly, because the Celtics, they're going to jack up these threes. And I think they're going to have the same results. Maybe they don't miss 45, but I still think they're going to shoot a bad percentage against the Knicks. I mean, they're getting hands up. Good defenders all around. So, foolishly, I will say Knicks in 7. Also, I hate the Celtics, so I'd rather see them lose.
Knicks riding.
All right, that's all of our round 2 predictions, semifinals. Should be going on for the next couple weeks, so we'll talk about these games every so often. Anything else before we head on out? WWE Backlash is this Saturday, and we got a double whammy from TKO. They also have UFC 315, 316, one of them this weekend as well. So not only do we have Backlash on Saturday, but you also have a UFC main pay-per-view event this Saturday as well. So lots to watch this Saturday.
Lots to watch.
Anything else before we head on out?
That's all I got.
That's all I got, folks. MTL Sports here. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Thank you for listening on Spotify. Keep up the great support. YouTube numbers they've been really, really good the past couple weeks. So keep up. Other than that, guys, we'll see you next week. Peace.